In this review of the week's news, the Town Hall gets the tick of approval for repair, residents are urging government to get a wriggle on with the QE2 site, and the council launches a new mobile app. This is CTV News Week in Review. I'm Jared McCulloch. The Christchurch Town Hall will be fully restored after 2 years of public debate. Christchurch City councillors voted this week to save the heritage building to its original glory, first opened back in the 70s. After being put on hold for a full reassessment of the earthquake-damaged Town Hall, the Christchurch City Council nearly unanimously voted yes to fully restoring the historic landmark.
I think that if we pass this today, councillors, this will be a major milestone towards us achieving our council's community outcomes. So I urge you all to strongly support the recommendation.
I think it's an absolutely wonderful time in history for us to be able to gift back an iconic building which we don't have many left.
This is the third debate I've had around this council table around the Town Hall. And it's probably, fingers crossed, going to come up with the same option that we had, same resolution we had nearly 3 years ago.
The cost-sharing agreement left it up to the local government to decide on the world-class facility. And now, with consent being approved on Tuesday, the work will begin. And Christchurch Mayor Leanne Dalzell is happy a part of the city's heritage can be saved, saying it's the right move from the council to get the facts right about the cost of the restoration.
I think that the cost share agreement number was plucked out of the air, and I think that it is important that we have now in front of us the facts of the matter so that we can consider the decision that we need to make today. Only one councillor, Jamie Goff, voted against the proposal, concerned about the cost escalating and other problems including asbestos and ground problems. But he says he will back the other councillors no matter what the decision.
So the worst possible thing that you could ever do in a decision-making role is to not make a decision. So in the event that the full restoration option is passed, then I back the collective decision. I'm part of a governance group, and when we make a decision, whatever the outcome of that is, I own. You know how I feel about it. I've been upfront and honest with you about my concerns with it, but I won't pick holes in it. And it's my job to ensure that we make the best go of it that we can.
There was also an applause from around 20 Town Hall supporters and architect Miles Warren when it was given the go-ahead. So where has it come? Well, an accounting firm took on a report in August 2013, shortly after the council had already decided to go ahead with repairing the City Hall, despite public criticism from Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee. At the time when the project stalled, the council's financial position was still being reassessed, with the shortfall being close to $1.2 billion. But now, with the reassessment, the numbers work like this. Out of the 8 options presented, the council agreed on option 1 to fully repair and restore the site, including the removal of some trees and replacing them with others, coming in at a cost of $127.5 million. That will repair everything. So it's green for go. A full restoration is due to be complete on the Kilmore Street site by June 2018. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. The paper he co-authored on climate change received the Nobel Peace Prize. Dr. Jim Salinger was in town this week to highlight just how fragile our ecosystem is due to what he says are the ongoing effects of climate change. Chelsea Daniels explains.
Celebrated climate change scientist Dr. Jim Salinger spoke about the disadvantages of living in a warmer world last night in Christchurch. Dr. Salinger has been involved in research and analysis of climate variation and its impacts for over 35 years. He contributed to the reports of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2007. The report suggested that climate change is fast accelerating, and Salinger says it's only getting worse.
Well, if you look at New Zealand temperatures, and Christchurch is much the same, we're a degree warmer than we were 100 years ago. There's probably 20 less winter frosts a year than there was 100 years ago. If we look at New Zealand glaciers, there's a third less ice up there compared with 1976, and probably only a fifth of what we had in the 1890s.
He believes that there is strength in numbers and that if everyone can make a small change, it would really make a huge difference.
Well, there's a number of things. The first thing is obviously to lobby and get out on marches because it's public opinion that changes governments. But in terms of human behaviour, you go to things, well, Christchurch is ideal. It's a cycling city, have more of that. Energy efficiency in the home, and pressing the government and local bodies for electrification of the car fleet.
Salinger encourages people to be leaders in the change towards minimising human-made fossil fuel emissions. He edited a book on climate change in 2013, bringing together the world's leading scientists to describe how a hotter planet is affecting our food supplies, fisheries and agriculture, access to fresh water and public health. Living in a Warmer World analyses how climate change may affect us if the world grew to be 4 degrees warmer. But what would this mean for Christchurch in particular?
Firstly, if it warms 4 degrees, there's going to be not much ice left in the Southern Alps. It'll still be there. You'll still be able to see it, particularly in the Mount Cook National Park, but you'll have to go higher. There'll be wildlife extinctions in the alpine areas. Agriculture will change dramatically. With that amount of warming, kiwi fruit will be possible in Canterbury, but as against it, you might be changing from wheat crops to things that require more warmth, like maize. And of course, in a warmer climate, you get more pests and diseases.
However, New Zealand won't be affected immediately, but there is still reason to be alarmed.
We're a bit further down the track, but we will certainly be affected. We're already seeing things happening now. I've talked about the glaciers. What's interesting is the spread of subtropical grasses down the North Island of New Zealand, because we've lost the number of frosts a year. So if you went in a time bubble back to 1930 and looked at now, some things are already happening.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Nearly 1,500 young Canterbury runners took to the field to compete in this year's cross-country event, and organisers say it's becoming more and more competitive every year. Clear skies and a clear focus for these young Cantabrians taking up the region's cross-country challenge. The students have already participated in their school and zone events, with the top runners moving on to the next stage. And now over 1,000 primary school pupils turned out for the event here at Hallswell Quarry Park, with around 160 schools travelling from all over the province to hopefully make it to the regionals. The intermediate schools competed today as well, with close to 400 pupils from 11 schools attending. And the event's sports director says she's been run off her feet.
Just a little bit.
Lynn Miles has been organising this event for nearly 20 years and says it's come a long way from when it first started, saying it's grown into a very competitive sport.
I think the children are faster now and also take it more seriously than what they used to, because we didn't used to have the representative teams at the end of it, of course.
And they've gone high-tech too. The stopwatch now put aside and replaced with an automatic timing system, making life a lot easier for Miles and the students.
Now we've got active timing that do the timing for us, so the timing chips are in their numbers and it just automatically records everything, which means, results will be out very quickly.
Only a certain number of these keen runners will make it through to the next round to represent Canterbury in the regional finals, and she says they can't take any more competitors this time round, saying they're maxed out.
We've changed the systems and we actually have to limit the numbers. Otherwise, we can't cope with it in a day. The top 10 automatically qualify today, and with the year 7 and 8, the top 20 will run against the top 20 from this afternoon's races from the intermediates.
It's a long process, but Miles believes it's still a very popular event and a great way to keep the young Kiwis fit and well.
Getting the children out active, and that's what recently you will have seen, how Canterbury has the most activity with, and it's probably because of that the schools will get behind it.
So it's not just a run around the reserve.
Yes, it is serious, and they do take it seriously too. It gives them something to aim for. At the end of it, even though these might be more of the elite, it's still the process that they go through everybody's involved.
And one of the parents from Lincoln Primary School says it's a great sport for the youngsters.
I think it's really important for the kids. It teaches them that, it's okay to compete, it's okay to push yourself as well and run as hard as you can. And I know that with our children, we trained them solidly for a month. Pretty much every day we were doing something, and, it's just good to see them come here and give it everything they have and compete with other children their own age.
If it's not the children taking it seriously, it's the parents.
CTV News were filming when the Year 5 boys and girls were taking on the long-distance venture. So, how did they get on? What was the best part of it?
The end.
Because you finished.
It was easier than I thought. I thought that would be a lot longer.
So how far did you guys have to run?
2 kilometres.
And do you think that was enough?
Yeah, definitely.
And it was a bit like a treasure hunt for one of them.
With my shoe getting stuck in the mud.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. What'd you do? Where is it now? It's gone. You don't even have it. Where is it? Still on the track, is it?
Yeah.
So you have to go back and get it now. Oh. The next stage isn't until September, but the top Canterbury superstars will continue training before they head to Blenheim and take on the country's best. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. Still to come, the fanfare structure opens to the public. Welcome back. It comes with a price tag of over $3 million. It's an art piece you can't miss if you're heading to Christchurch from the Northern Motorway. And after months of installation, it's open to the public. It's finally here, placed near the motorway north of Christchurch. Back in 2005, it was suppressed off the Sydney Harbour Bridge on one of the biggest nights for celebration, New Year's Eve, and was gifted to the city back in 2007. And finally, a decade on, it's made its way to our shores here in the Garden City. The structure known as Fanfare has been greeting commuters in and out of the city for only a few days, being officially opened last night. With 360 reflective pinwheels, it'll bring the sphere to life, being one of the country's largest public art pieces. CTV News has followed its journey here. Back in February, there was excitement from sculptor Neil Dawson, when preparation was going on at the site.
When you make these big public art works and there's a lot of energy and a lot of work goes into them and they're only up for 3 weeks, it's kind of sad. So the fact that it has an ongoing life is an absolute treat, and the fact that it's near my hometown is even better.
And back then he believed it would take time for commuters to understand its beauty.
And it may only happen in a flash of a second as you drive past, but if you're doing that every day, you accumulate a relationship with it, and that's why I love public art, because it's an ongoing relationship, and it's got as much to do with the observer as it has got to do with the artwork.
The sod turning marked the start of the installation of the structure, but it wasn't cheap to get it here, coming in with a price tag of $3.3 million. And in February, Space Public Art still needed $47,000 to make it a reality.
For all of Canterbury, it's going to be a symbol of Christchurch rising from the ashes, if you like, and it's a real great statement. It'll be a really great gateway for Christchurch.
It really does signal that the city is going ahead with a rebuild, and that arts are going to be an important part of the rebuild.
Shortly after the turning, the 20-metre high sphere arrived in the country in pieces, in a state of disarray.
Seeing that it's a couple of years old and it was sitting in a container for quite a long time.
Fanfare was never meant to be a permanent piece of art when it was designed. It was a trial and error process representing a large mirror ball for Sydney's New Year's Eve disco party.
I took that theme and just modified it a little bit, and I thought if things moved in the wind they wouldn't take so much, and then I came up with the idea of just using fans, the simple pinwheel fan that we all know that we had on a stick. So again, it's an accessible object that people know really easily.
It was only going to be shown for a fleeting moment, meaning it needed to go through some restructuring work to make it last for years to come.
Well, it goes from here to the sandblasters, and then from the sandblasters to the galvanizers, and from the galvanizers goes on site on the motorway, and the whole structure will be assembled and put up.
So 5 years worth of fundraising later and 4 months of installation, the structure now stands tall on the Northern Motorway, with its official blessing taking place yesterday, a welcoming sight for commuters for years to come. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. Residents in the east are urging government to get a move on when it comes to the former QE2 Park site. Much has been planned this year, but as Chelsea Daniels reports, progress has been slow going.
Development of the former QE2 site was a hot topic of discussion in today's council meeting, with the community wanting the project to hurry up. It has been decided earlier this year by Christchurch City Council and the Ministry of Education to relocate Avonside Girls and Shirley's Boys schools along with the new Sports and Rec Centre. Residents are understandably eager to know where the schools and recreation centre will be co-located on the site and when they will expect the progress to continue. The absence of a recreation and sports centre in the east has placed strains on families with children active in sport.
Because our youth in the east and in nearby wards really need to be given the opportunity to get to their individual aspirations, and I know that's very much a theme from the high schools as well. They need the equal opportunity to achieve the competitive goals, and that is compromised by excessive travel that's needed to cross the CBD to get to appropriate facilities. In some circumstances that could be 3 or 4 times a week, and it can make it prohibitive in terms of both cost and time for families to do that.
Robert spoke on behalf of the community, asking the council to make the right choice in a way of a brighter future. They want a space that can grow over time. However, they are well aware of the budget restraints that are facing the council at present.
As the community is clear that what we have is a choice of options within a limited budget. Nobody in the community believes that this is a Christmas wish list with an unlimited chequebook.
The Mayor agrees that something has to be done. She also said that it's great news the schools are co-locating with the Eastern Sport and Rec Centre, and if anything was to be decided on, there would be a wide community debate first.
All of these options, but that's the conversation that we now want to kind of spark up and develop. But we have to engage the schools and the ministry in that debate as well. So it's a broader community debate.
Yes.
And Robert agrees.
Yeah, but what you have to do is take a look at the whole thing and say, here are all our needs. How do we accommodate them in the site we've got? What's the best way to start it? And perhaps, some sort of an arrangement where the schools are on one side, there's some shared facilities, there's the Eastern Recreation and Sports Centre, and then that flows into green space, sports fields, wetlands, the whole lot. It could turn into something spectacular for the East.
The QE2 Park, that was originally built to host the 1974 Commonwealth Games, was damaged beyond repair by the Canterbury earthquakes in 2011. The revitalisation of the area has sparked widespread public interest in the eastern suburbs and is sure to be followed up with great passion.
So we need to see some positive stuff going through, and the community wants to be part of that, really involved in it. And I'm sorry, I'm getting slightly passionate about it because I think it's fantastic.
I want you to be passionate about it, Robert. That's the whole point.
I think it's a positive thing, but we need to be careful how it works. I couldn't have been more excited when I heard that the schools were going to locate at QE2.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
Still to come, the council app designed to help and the next step in the city's alcohol bylaws. Welcome back. The Christchurch City Council is going digital. Snap, Send, Solve has just launched a new mobile app for residents to snap and send in any issues they're facing in the city. But will it work or make any difference? It's nearly as easy as 1, 2, 3. It's Snap, Send, Solve. The Christchurch City Council has launched a new mobile app, with residents now able to report council-related issues from the palm of their hand. They're the first local government in the country to use the smartphone application for the public to report any issues from graffiti to potholes in a matter of seconds. And the council's IT manager says it's designed to be simple.
So if you see, for example, a rubbish bin that's overflowing, you can take a photo of it, it captures your location, and then you can send it in to us either anonymously or add your details. And it comes into council and we put it into our systems and processes to sort out.
The app costs around $11,000 to run annually and has been around 6 months in the making. It's also used across the ditch, with multiple councils throughout Australia using the same program. And now the app has reached our shores.
We have been obviously really keen to bring ourselves into the 21st century, become a bit more digital and modern. There's about 40 councils that use it over in Australia. It's particularly well used in Sydney. There's a council there that gets over 400 requests per month. So it's really highly used. So we saw it as a great opportunity to bring to Christchurch.
And it shows. Since its launch, nearly 80 incidents have been sent through, varying from roading right down to wastewater and stormwater systems. She says it's important to engage with residents concerned through modern technology.
We wanted to make it easier for people to basically send us issues. So at the moment you have to log on to our website, fill in a form or send an email or ring up, and we just wanted to make it easier for people to actually let us know what's going on out there and things that we need to fix.
So, how does it work? Well, when the app is downloaded, you can take a photo of the issue you have, put in any extra details about the problem, and with your mobile device's GPS, it can track where the concern is around the city. And then after that, it goes into the council systems.
So the processing systems are the same for any requests for service that we receive from out in Christchurch. The email comes in. If the customer has put in their details, so their email address or phone number, we get in contact with them. If it's an email address, we'll let them know we've received the request, and then we'll, within 48 hours, let them know what the process is, what's happening to that request, and a job reference number if it's appropriate.
And then it goes on to the right department. So CTV News went out to ask what locals thought of the app, many impressed with the new piece of technology.
I think it's great. The place is a mess at the moment with quite a bit around.
Do you think you'd use it?
Yeah, I would.
Do you think you would use it?
I don't think so.
And why is that?
Thank you.
Why is that, do you reckon?
Wow. Too old.
I guess. I don't know. Good. Great.
Do you think you'd use it?
Probably not.
And you think you'd download it?
No.
Do you think you'd download it?
If I knew about it, maybe, yeah. If it's a local one, yeah. It's always interesting to have apps that can have an impact on your local life, on the things that are around you. So if it's something that has been launched by the City Council, yeah, it might be interesting.
It'll make them do something about it, hopefully.
Do you think you would download it?
Yeah, if there was something that I didn't like that I wanted to be seen.
It's only if people know about it and use it to its full potential.
We come across these issues every day, and I think it's an amazing idea.
Fantastic. Do you think you'd download it?
Yes, I do.
One concern may be this roundabout near the CTV headquarters, but it's not all swings and roundabouts for all mobile users. It's only available on Apple and Android devices. But never fear.
We're working with Snaps and Solve to look at the possibilities for Windows Phone. Yep.
So all those people out there that want on Windows phones, will be coming for them as well?
In time.
So step aside the Snapchat and the selfies, and maybe this new app to get the thumbs up towards some thumbs down problems. Jared McCulloch, CTV News. The city's new alcohol bylaw is one step closer to being finalised, and there are only a few more weeks, with the hospitality industry rejecting the controversial new plans.
People have 4 weeks to oppose on Christchurch's new liquor proposals. The City Council's draft alcohol policy is in its final stages of being formalised, with appeals now open until the 7th of July. The policy includes restricting trading hours for off-licence premises, such as bottle stores and supermarkets, to 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It wants to impose 1 a.m. closing times on pubs, taverns and unlicensed restaurants and cafes in suburban centres. In parts of the central city, bars and pubs will be allowed to stay open until 3 a.m, but might be subject to a discretionary one-way door policy. Nightclubs in the central city entertainment zone will be able to stay open till 4 a.m. The Waimakariri District Council enacted its alcohol policy last month, imposing the strictest alcohol bylaws in the country.
And that's CTV News Week in Review. I'm Jared McCulloch. Have a fantastic weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.